Nation's number one DJ, DJ Rockwell.
Yo, this is Apocalypse, the lyrical warner, hip-hop revelator. And you rockin' with the nation's number one DJ, DJ Rockwell, you understand me?
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, family, where you at? This is your brother DJ Rockwell, the nation's number one DJ, host of the Rockwell Radio Show. Thank you for once again joining us for a program that's got a kick in the backside with some news that you can use. Again, you're tuning into the Rockwell Radio Show. It's 7 o'clock here on the East Coast, down south, and wherever you at. Hopefully, you're near o'clock. We can see what time it is. What a show we got lined up today. Big Dave, man. Big Dave, when the last time I called you on the camera, Dave? It's been a minute. Come say hi to the people real quick, Big Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, the man I can't do the show without, my producer, my brother, Big Dave C.
I'm gonna turn my microphone. Peace to our viewers, to our guests. Thank you for having us. Thank you for inviting us into your living rooms, your phones, your iPads. Thank you, DJ Rockwell, for calling your baby brother to the spot.
Brother, man, have you been following Brother Abdul's story?
Man, yes. And I'm so thankful to be informed on his story and stories like this, and that such a thing can and is happening. And the light is being shined on it. Yes.
Oh, brother, man, let's get this on the way because the people need to know about this story. Ready to work?
Let's do it.
Let's get him.
Peace.
Dave C., y'all, the producer of the Rockwell Radio Show. He's here with me every Saturday. I can't do this without him. Before we get going, we need to go ahead and set up what you already know what it is, the 3 steps that we ask everybody to observe. Hit the like and share button, tag somebody, and last but not least, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the like button if you're watching on Facebook. And you can now follow the Rockwell Radio Show, not only on my personal page, but also go ahead over and hit the like on the Rockwell Radio Show Facebook page. Tag somebody, share the show because we got a lot to talk about. So when you come in the room, let us know where you're watching from, what city, what state, what mosque, what organization. We want to shout you out and make sure that we recognize your presence here on the Rockwell Radio Show today. I want to try to keep my opening comments concise and to the point, Big Dave, because there's a lot to say about our guest. It really, really is. Now, we are here to discuss education and one of the finest educators that I've ever had a chance to observe, although from a distance. So as I became aware of the injustice that was done to our brother Abdul Muhammad, I began to do a little study. I began to do a little research, Dave, into what we're actually dealing with when teachers who work in the public school system have to go to work every day and battle sometimes battle the student, but now you got to battle with the system too. Let's look at that a little closer. Ladies and gentlemen, I did some research and learned that the national high school graduation rate hovers around 80% for Black children, 81%. Look at that. And Dave, I learned that in 2021, just a few years ago, Big Dave, that only 76% of Black boys even finish high school. What's happening to our Black boys? Are they falling through the cracks? And if so, that's on our watch. And tonight's guest is just the kind of person that's going to deal with that. And David led me to what we call is the supreme wisdom. It led me to our lessons, and it led me directly to the Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1, question number 7. And if you at home, you know what that lesson says, help me with it. It says this: why does the devil keep our people what? Illiterate? And then the lessons provide us with the answer. The lessons then say, so he can use them for a tool and also a slave. He keeps them blind to themselves so he can do what? Master them. And he closes out the lesson by saying that illiterate means ignorant. So therefore, there is a vested interest in dumbing down our people and keeping them ignorant, because the enemy can't master a wise and educated black man. I heard the minister once say, Big Dave, that the public school system or the education system as it exists now is the killing fields. So listen to this. Knowing that, and Hollywood is also a culprit, I just did a little research on Hollywood's history and how they present our community, how they present our people when it comes to the educational system and what it looks like. They always show us as savage and unbehaved and unruly. And they send what they call white savior movies when they have white people, white men and women go to the deep down hood and try to turn around black schools and black education. But there were 3 movies, Dave, in particular that I want to highlight here that, well, there were black men that saved the day. Black men who stood up and took charge of the community as educators should. You'll know one that came out in 1997, Big Dave. It was Samuel L. Jackson, a movie called 187. Well, they sent him to the hood in LA, and he had to deal with the gangbangers, where he even gave his life in the story to reach a student. If you know that movie, hit the like and share button. The second one, Big Dave, was one of my favorite actors, Denzel Washington. In 2007, he had a film that we all loved called The Great Debaters, where he taught students how to battle the enemy using language, using their minds and not their fists. That was Denzel Washington, y'all. And the one that we all know, the one that we love, the one that became a cultural icon in our hood and our community was our brother Morgan Freeman. In 1989, the classic movie Lean on Me, where he took on the role of Joe Clark. Our brother today that we're about to introduce you to right now, he is the culmination and combination of all 3 and more. But I could go on and begin to list his accolades. Our brother is based in our national headquarters in Chicago. He is a 25-year veteran educator of the Chicago public school system. He was also featured in the Who's Who in America's High School Teachers 4 years and running. Our brother in 2003, Big Dave, out of 1,100 teachers, this brother, who is our guest tonight, he was nominated by the students of the city for the Teacher of the Year award. And although all these accolades are too much for me to go through, but it's better if I let the students tell it themselves. Watch this.
Thank you very much, Susan. This morning, we're taking you to the Academy Awards for teachers. Tonight, Westinghouse Career Academy High School, Abdul Muhammad is up for the highest honor, Best Teacher. And student Darlisha Miles nominated him, and they both join us this morning. And thank you very much for being with us. Congratulations on being nominated. And Darlisha, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Let me start off with you, Darlisha. Why did you pick this wonderful teacher to be nominated for this wonderful award?
Well, I picked Mr. Muhammad for this award because he's a great teacher. Students learn Black history facts every day, all type of things. Queens of Africa, all type of things. Port, we go beyond everything that we do. And Mr. Muhammad makes sure that his students learn, and he goes beyond by creating activities that get us interested into wanting to do things, making school fun and just motivate us.
That's awesome. Now, let me ask you this, Abdul. I mean, listening to her, I'm getting chills because, you know, when you see a student motivated and excited about learning the way she is, and you're an educator, so that just must make you feel incredible. Tell me about that.
Yes, sir. Well, it is an incredible feeling because, you know, every year when I start the school year at Westinghouse, of course, the students, they come in and they look at me funny. But by the end of the year, the students, they enjoy my class, they love my class. I can't even teach.
Why do they look at you funny?
Because,
you got the bow tie?
Well, the bow tie is part. I wear a suit every day, so you know, they're like, well, what is this, you know? And by the end of this year, I'll have students coming back to visit me from years before, so I can hardly even teach my class for the students coming by my room to see how I'm doing. And I just bring excitement. I, you know, try to bring creative activities for the students to enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. That was 20 years ago, and now we're 20 years later, and he's still on his post fighting for black students all over the city of Chicago. Please welcome my brother and yours for the first time on the Rockwell Radio Show, Brother Abdul Muhammad. There he is.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, big brother. Welcome to the Rockwell Radio Show. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, brother. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be on your show, and I want to thank you for the invitation, as well as thank your viewers for tuning in for this awesome show this evening.
And speaking of thanking people, I want to thank my big brother, Brother Miko Muhammad, who put you and I together to make this happen today. So Big Meek, thank you, sir. Brother, man, it's a lot to talk about. Is it okay if we kind of just jump right in?
And let's jump right in it, brother. It is a lot. We only got an hour. Let's get in it.
Let's jump here. Now, what I want to do, I want to set the stage and share the people a little bit about you. And then in the second half, we're going to talk about the actual situation at hand.
Yes,
we're going to talk about, man, just the beauty and craft of a good educator, which are so few and far between.
Yes, sir.
So before we even get into the controversy and the scandal, big brother, that your fight with CPS is uncovering, I want to start with what made you, Brother Abdul, fall in love with the profession in the first place.
Man, that's
I know that
Go ahead.
you went to school initially to major in business administration, but
Yes,
after hearing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in college, that changed your mind completely. So walk us through that experience and what happened.
So, brother, you know, I'll say this. My mother, may Allah be pleased with her, always told me that I should be a teacher. You know, and you know, mothers, how they are, because they just want you to have a job and be safe, right? So she said, well, you know, teachers, you know, if you be a teacher, you always have a job, you know. So, you know, and I listened to my mother, but I had no desire to be a teacher because I gave my teachers a very hard time when I was in high school. So as a high school student, you know, a senior in high school, I saw the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan right there in the city that you're in, my brother, at the Omni.
Yes, sir.
On April the 26th, 1990. And as a high school student, I was blown away by the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I was inspired to join the Nation of Islam shortly thereafter. And, you know, when I went to college, like most young people, we don't know what we want to do. And for all the young people that are listening, there's nothing wrong with you not having it figured out yet, because life is about discovery and you're on a road to figure it out, right?
Yeah, right.
But the thing that helps you to discover who you are is knowledge, right? So when I was introduced to the knowledge of self, right, I chose business management as a major only because, you know, as a freshman on a college campus, you know, when you get ready to talk to girls and they ask you, well, what you majoring in? You don't want to say, I don't know, you know, so I just said, hey,
right.
Business management, right? Because it sounded good, you know.
Trying to fly.
Yeah, so, you know, we trying to spark up a conversation. But once I started to learn about myself, then I decided to change my major from business management to education, not knowing that this field would be my absolute passion, reason that Allah put me here. But, you know, I made that decision based on what I was learning as a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in the house with DJ Rockwell and our big brother Abdul Muhammad. Tonight we're talking about the principals who have been targeted for removal in the city of Chicago, and we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I see Sister Tisha, welcome. I see Brother Tony, welcome. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit the share button, and let everybody know that the Rockwell Radio Show is live right now. Big brother, now, in the introduction, I showed us the slides of the Hollywood portrayals, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, you transferred from MUI into the public school sector.
Yes,
Once you got there, was it all that Hollywood portrayed it to be in terms of the wildness and all of that? And
No,
if it was, how did you handle it? How did you begin to start making it?
That's a great question, brother. I don't think Hollywood actually captures. They try to capture. I think they do a good job, but the reality is so much different because you're dealing with human beings, right? And anybody who works with the public is going to have a difficult job. Police, they're going to have a difficult job because they work with the public. If you're a bus driver, you're going to have a difficult job because you work with the public. And a lot of times the public is not as civilized as we would like them to be, right?
Hello.
People who work with the public are dealing with that rawness of what the public brings, right?
Come on.
So now, if the police and the bus drivers and all these various people have a hard time dealing with the public because of the rawness of the public, imagine teaching the children of the people that you don't even want to deal with.
Cool.
You understand what I'm saying? So, brother, I'll say this, and I've said this to people who decide to choose education as a field. The condition of our people is so horrendous, right? That it would test your faith in Master Fard Muhammad's ability to give life to the dead. So now, if you're not strong in faith, right, you will say, "Man, there ain't no hope for these people." Cool. Look at what I'm looking at every day. It's no hope, and you'll give up. Either one or two things going to happen because it's just that bad. Either you're going to give up hope, or you're going to call on what is within and change the reality of what you see. Right. So this process of giving life to the dead. That's what we do wherever we go, and that's what every school, brother. Every school that I've gone into, I've worked in the so-called, and I'm only saying so-called worst schools in Chicago.
So-called, right.
So-called, because they were bad when I got there, and Allah blessed me to turn them around. Everywhere that I went, I was blessed to transform the school and transform the students. That has been my track record in Chicago public schools for the last 25 years. I started on the west side of Chicago at a school called Westinghouse. It's the neighborhood school at the time. It's a college, it's a selective enrollment school right now, but at that time it was a neighborhood school. This is where the students nominated me to be the teacher of the year. The students nominated me because the work that I put in, I went above and beyond the call of duty, and they nominated me and blessed me to be the teacher of the year for the city of Chicago. When I was on the west side, brother, I'll say this, because the great teacher that I am is because of the students that I had, right? One of the things that revolutionized my entire way of educating our children, it wasn't my idea, but the way it came about is after my first year teaching in this public schools, I asked my students, I said, well, what can I do better? I wanted to get their feedback. And this sister, and if she walked in the room, I wouldn't even know her to this day. This sister said, I wish I learned more about Black history.
Come on.
I read that, and she said that. I said to myself, like, that broke my heart because I'm Black, I'm in the nation, I know all this stuff about Black history, and I got a student in front of me. And that student is telling me that she wished she learned more about Black history. That one comment, brother, revolutionized the whole way I teach. It
Come on.
And out of me that I didn't even know was there. So I said to myself, I'll never have another student come in front of me and say that they wish they learned more about Black history. So the next year, I decided to give my students a Black history fact every day at the beginning of the classroom. And that
love it.
And I've done a lot of things, bro, a lot of great things in education. That one thing that came from that student revolutionized the entire way I teach. And that one student's comment benefited thousands of students. You understand?
Listen.
So now, when I left Westinghouse, I went to a school called Chicago Vocational. They call it CVS. The students say that it stands for crime, violence, and sex. It's on the east side.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Right. It's on the east side of Chicago. And brother, fights and all this kind of stuff. And brother, I went to CVS, and at CVS, the same thing. The students would come to my classroom and say, Mr. Muhammad, the only reason I'm coming to school is to come to your class. Once your class is over with, I'm going home. Now, while I was at CVS, brother, I taught summer school. And in summer school, the students are in the room for 5 hours. We talking about in Chicago, in the hood, they're in there for 5 hours in the summer.
Percolate.
The same respect, the same honor, the same love that I had during the regular year, I had that same respect, honor, and love during the summer school with students from all over the city.
Come on, man.
And students would tell me, Mr. Muhammad, I started using this in my classroom, but they would tell me, that's why I started using. They said, Mr. Muhammad, I learned more in this class than I learned my whole life. So then when they started telling me that, I would start my classroom. I say, listen here, you're going to learn more in this class than you've ever learned in life, period.
Come on, come
at
on.
the family reunion talking about what you learned in this class, right? So after I left CBS, which is the east side of Chicago, right? Now, brother, I went to a school called Simeon. At Simeon, I had Jabari Parker, who's in the NBA, Kendrick Nunn, who's in the NBA.
Come on now.
Taylor, who's the #1 basketball player in the state. He plays overseas. One of my former students' name is Blake Hickman. He used to be in Major League Baseball. So these are my former students, right? Brother, they love me just like all the students at every other school, right? Because I gave them the knowledge of self and what they were missing. But, brother, never played favoritism, even though I had the star basketball, football, and baseball players, and because I was so disciplined, they respected that, right? When I left Simeon, those were my teaching jobs, and the students loved me everywhere. When I left Simeon, I went to a school called Percy L. Julian, which is in Chicago, what we call in the hundreds, right? Because it's on 103rd. So this is a very rough neighborhood, right?
Okay.
And when I got there, brother, as assistant principal, now I need y'all to understand, because the Muslims who are watching think, man, but they just saw you with your bow tie on, brother. And they just automatically respected you. I need y'all to understand that day is gone. Like these young
Say it again.
Doesn't know what a bow tie means. Unless you make it mean something, it don't mean nothing, right? So don't think, oh man, they just saw you with a bow tie on, Abdul, and they just respected you. Absolutely not. Respect for today's young people has to be earned. They're not just giving you because you got a suit on.
Don't care who you are.
My first day at Julian. Now, none of these students know this track record of this great teacher that all the students love. None of them know me. First day at Julian. A brother was walking around with his headphones in. I said, brother, now you got maybe 6'3". So I'm looking up at him. I said, brother, you got to take them headphones out. This brother looks down on me, right? And he says to me, man, get the F out of my face. Man, I ain't never been talked to like that. And my whole collar was on fire, like on the cartoons, right? So, I'm not a punk. So I didn't just oh, sorry, brother, and just go around the corner and do something else. So, we dealt with this particular brother, and once we dealt with him, we came to find out that he had a warrant out for his arrest because he had fought a police horse at the Taste of Chicago, right? So he ends up getting locked up. Now, I wasn't trying to get the brother locked up. But when this brother came back to the school, guess who was his best friend? I was his best friend. And the reason I was his best friend is because when he tried to punk me, right, or intimidate me, then he wasn't able to, and that automatically earned his respect and the respect of the other students. I don't want people to think, oh, well, you just
That's key.
Brother, I've been challenged so many times. I have war stories. We just don't have time to go through them, right?
You have answered so many of my questions already before.
When I got
to get to them,
they were fighting. There was the gangs was coming up out the neighborhood to jump on the students, right? Parents coming up out the neighborhood to jump on all kind of stuff. Football team jumping on the basketball team, all kind of stuff. This is what was happening. The academics was not the priority. Not only did we make the academics the priority, but we transformed the school at Julian. We shut down all the brothers coming from the neighborhood to jump on students. We shut down the parents coming to the school to jump on students. We shut all of that down. And rather than them fighting on the last day of school in the middle of 103rd Street, the students were getting their book bags on the last day of school and going home. Now, brothers and sisters, to make that type of change, you have to go in the trenches and be ready to deal with what you see in the movies, but it's right in your face in reality. So,
ladies and gentlemen, hold on, let me do quick station ID. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all are paying attention. The brother is giving a class right now on the Rockwell Radio Show on what you need to do if you are an educator. I need everybody to really quickly follow the 3 steps of the Rockwell Radio Show. Somebody, please hit the like and share button. Somebody tag an educator and go ahead and subscribe to the Rockwell Radio Show on YouTube, and be sure to turn on the notification buttons. Brother Abdul, can we go deeper real fast?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, with this one, I want to ask this question. On August the 1st, in the Chicago Sun-Times online, they ran a piece.
Yes, sir.
And in that piece, they covered your story, and they quoted a gentleman by the name of Harrington Gibson, who turns out is the director of the National Louis University's doctoral program. And he said this. He said, Harrington Gibson, director of National Louis University's doctoral program on educational leadership, mentors Black male principals in the CPS or Chicago public school system. A group, he said, is woefully underrepresented. Only 9% of Chicago public school principals are Black men, while 18% of students are Black boys, according to state records. And studies show, he says, that students perform better when they see themselves in teachers and school leaders.
Yes,
sir. Now that struck a question for me. And I wanted to ask you, with that point made, what would you say it is about students that make, let me rephrase. I want to phrase it this way. What is it about students that make them comfortable, male students in particularly, to make them open up and submit to the leadership of Black men when he's standing in front of them?
Well, first, brother, I have to say it has to be the right Black man in front of them.
Say that.
It can't just be they're Black. So just to have a Black man in a position is not what we need. You need the right Black man in front of these Black boys that they will respond to, because Chicago public schools is notorious for just grabbing their flunkies that are Black men and putting them in front of Black children, and the results end up being the same. So when you have the right Black man in front of Black children, then what it does, it opens up the realm of possibility for that young Black child. And as a Black man who has experienced what life is like as a Black man, then I can automatically relate to the Black child. And we also share cultural similarities as Black people. Whereas a white woman from the suburbs doesn't have any cultural similarities with Black boys and is afraid of Black boys. For example, brother, when I started teaching, I always wanted to engage the Black boys. So I noticed that the Black boys went to the back of the classroom. The reason they go to the back is if you're a teacher, they in the back, that's because they don't want to be engaged, right? But what happened? Their mind has already been destroyed since 3rd grade. So you get them in 9th grade and their mind was destroyed by the time they got to 3rd grade, and they no longer cared about school. So from 3rd grade to 9th grade, they've been going to the back of the classroom and nobody said anything. Nobody did anything. So when the brothers came to me, I would stand them up on the first day of school. All the brothers, first day of school. I say, all the young men stand up. They all stand up. I say, y'all come up here. I'm at the front. They come up here to the front of the classroom. I have all the sisters stand up. I would put the brothers in the front of the classroom. Now, brother, I was experimenting because I'm trying to engage these Black boys. I was trying to do whatever I'm thinking could work, right?
Right.
When I did that, I noticed that the young Black boys' grades shot up. Just because I intentionally moved them from the back where they wanted to be and put them in the front where they needed to be.
He just gave y'all a tip.
If you're an educator, you ain't got to be an educator. You just be a human being. You know that there's a difference between the male and the female, in spite of what people are trying to lie to you and tell you. The female student can talk on her cell phone, be at a table with 5 of her friends, getting her hair braided, right? Getting her toes painted, drinking coffee, and still get all the schoolwork done. I mean, bro, I'm just telling you.
Now us.
The difference between the male student and the female student. The girl she can do all of that, have all of this going on, still get all the work done, and it be right. The boy, brother, you sit. If a girl sits next to him and she smells good, it's over with. He's distracted for 20 minutes. If somebody mentions Lil Wayne or Drake or whoever, it's about to, or the basketball game, it's over with. He's not getting no work done. There's a difference between the male student and the female student. We need to recognize and plan based on that. But just to throw any black man in front of black children is not good enough. The black children need the right black man in front of them, and that's for the male and the female. But the brother is right that our students do learn better when they have somebody in front of them that looks like them.
Man, time is going so fast. Big Dave, we're already at the half. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Abdul Muhammad is with us, and we are talking about today black principals who are targeted for removal, and he has got a testimony to tell, and what he has learned and found out uncovered a scandal that you won't believe. Before we go to break, let me see if I can squeeze in a few more of these questions, Big Dave. Now, I'm sure it's safe to say, Brother Abdul, that every teacher in the field ain't as passionate about the craft of teaching, obviously, as you are.
Yes, sir. That's
in fact, there's some that probably are in it just to get a check. Fair to say?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it possible that students pick up on that energy?
Absolutely.
And then they react like you don't even want to be here?
Brother, I'll tell you this, and I need all the parents to understand that by the time, as Kwanzaa Kenjufu said, that when the black boys, and I'm not excluding girls, but I'm just highlighting boys. Mm-hmm. By the time the black male student gets to third grade, he's no longer interested in school. But the reason that the male student and our children are no longer interested in school is because while they're in kindergarten and first grade and second grade, their minds are being destroyed. A teacher, black or white, knowingly or unknowingly, is putting a needle in the mind of this black child. How? Look at what happened to Malcolm X. Malcolm went to his teacher and said, look, I want to be a lawyer. And his white teacher said, look, Malcolm, you'll never be a lawyer. Your own people are not going to hire you. And certainly white people would never hire a black lawyer, but you work well with your hands.
Come on.
You should be a carpenter. So the confidence that your black child shows in first grade, second grade, third grade, a teacher with words or deeds kills what's in the mind of your black child. So by the time they get to high school, they've been totally turned off from education. The research says that for every one bad teacher, it takes like 7 good teachers to make up for one bad teacher. Wow. When, like, if your child has had bad teachers from kindergarten through 8th grade, by the time they get to high school, they're done. They're just going through the motions. So now, brothers and sisters, this is what happens when the minister went to school. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he said that he wanted to be a doctor. His teacher, Miss Hurley, said, look, you'll never be a doctor. White people are not going to hire you, and black people aren't going to hire a black doctor. But you play the violin so beautifully, Louis, right? So this is the needle in the brain. Malcolm, when the teacher said that to him, what did Malcolm do? He didn't try to prove the teacher wrong. Malcolm turned to a life of crime. And it wasn't until the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad came to prison, his brother, that Malcolm was transformed into that great defender of black people. But the white teacher put a needle in Malcolm's brain. This is what's happening to black children. The educators, some are there for a check. And so now I need y'all to understand, because most educators, most of them started out with good intentions, right? Some of the white teachers have a savior complex like you talked about.
Come on.
They have the savior complex until and I witnessed it for 25 years. They come into school, I'm the white savior. None of you black people know anything to do right for black children, until they meet the reality of what black children are and what black children look like. Then the white savior becomes not a savior and becomes an enemy to the black child that they thought they was going to come save, because now they're disappointed because of what they thought they were going to be able to do, and the black children not even responding to what you thought you was going to be able to do. So now you become an enemy to that child. You understand what I'm saying? So that happens,
Wow.
right? You
Wow.
have some people who are sincere. There are sincere people, black and white, who, when they meet the reality of what's in the public school system, then it shuts them down. And then they become a person who I'm just surviving. They're not bad people, but they are surviving. And because they're surviving, they got to get that check, but they're not educating your baby. So when your children come, I'm telling y'all what I'm seeing every day. When your children come home and say, Mama, I ain't learned nothing in school. You say, baby, what you learned? Mama, I ain't learned nothing. You think they just saying that? No, they not. They didn't learn anything. They telling you the truth.
Listen.
They didn't learn anything. And it's the same. Not teaching them is the same as telling them you're not going to amount to anything. Because actions speak louder than words. The reason that I taught my students, brother, when I was a teacher, I did not give my students free time. They like, Mr. Muhammad, when we going to get some free time? I said, what's the last day of school? June. I said, June 16th, you'll get some free time. Every minute. I didn't give them a minute. Every minute I spent teaching them. Why? Because I believed and I knew that they would amount to something. So I spent every minute teaching them. Well, what if I don't think they're going to amount to anything? I ain't about to spend no time teaching them. So actions speak louder than words. The teachers today are sophisticated. They're not going to come tell your children, well, you ain't ever going to amount to anything. They're just not going to teach them. So you have people, let me just say this while we're talking about education. You know, you have all these white Republicans jumping up and down about critical race theory. Oh, they're teaching critical race theory. Listen.
Come on.
Listen, black people, do not fall for the okie doke. I've been in Chicago public schools 25 years. Guess how many professional developments I've been on critical race theory? Zero. You're right. Yeah, none.
Let me stop the beat. Say that one more time, please. Say that again.
I've been in Chicago public schools 25 years, and I have never been to a professional development about critical race theory. You think, oh, they're teaching them. No, they're not teaching them anything, which is worse. That's what you should be mad about, not them teaching critical race theory. They're not teaching the children, period. So that's the fight, brothers and sisters. If your children are in public school, you need to make sure your children get properly educated in the public school system. They'll teach them about transgender. They'll teach them about Pride Month. But the children, brother, let me say this. I know you got to go to break. When I was at this school in Chicago, Lindblom, a black parent came to me when I first got elected by the black community to be over this school. The parent came to me and said, Mr. Muhammad, you know, even though this is a black school, they do not honor and celebrate Black History Month in a black school. Will you do something about it? I told that parent, I said, look here, we about to have the greatest Black History Month that we can have, right?
Say it.
But that's the point that I'm trying to get y'all to understand. When we leave the education of our children to other people, to white people, they're going to teach your children what they think is important. Not what you as a black parent or a black community know is important. They're going to teach your children what they think is important, and they become the filter for what goes into the mind of the black child. So it goes back to what you just read, brother, in lesson number 1.
Come on.
Why does the devil keep our people illiterate?
Come on.
So he can use them as a tool and also a slave. So illiterate means ignorant. It doesn't mean that the person is ignorant of everything, right? But if you're ignorant to the knowledge of self, and the knowledge of self is the greatest knowledge, because the knowledge of self is the key to every other body of knowledge. If our children don't have the knowledge of self, but they have knowledge of other things, then they're still ignorant.
My God.
So when white people control black education, then it's like our children can read and write. So don't think, he didn't say that illiterate means you can't read and write. It didn't say that in the answer. It said that illiterate means ignorant. The question is, ignorant to what? And what our children are ignorant to is the knowledge of self, which is the greatest knowledge. And it is the knowledge that guides everything that we do. You cannot make a proper decision without the knowledge of self. So I'm gonna leave you there, brother. I know we got to take a break.
Dave, I'm over the break. Dave, don't kill me. But this is worth it, y'all. You are tuning into the Rockwell Radio Show. My guest tonight is Brother Abdul Muhammad. out of Chicago, our national headquarters, and we are talking about a much needed subject, the education of our children and how our Black principals are being penalized and in some cases even being let go as a result of it. Dave, I'm going to squeeze this one in because I overlooked it.
Let's squeeze it in, brother. Let's get it in.
I overlooked it, but it's too important to not deal with this, Dave. I want to go back to the slide with the minister's quote. Dave, that was slide number, if you see it, Dave, before I get to it, I think that was slide number, no, with the minister, that's slide number, that one. Thank you, Dave. Listen to this. This is from 2012, a lecture entitled The True Meaning of Education. I want to read this, Brother Abdul, then I want to get your general response. The minister said, what is the meaning of the word education? It comes from two Latin words, a prefix educo and educare, which means to lead or to lead out from. He then says, did you know that God has given to every human being a gift from himself? There's not one human being that is not gifted from God, but education is to lead the gift out so that what is within is manifested, is developed, is put into the service for the glory of God. So many of us live and die without ever realizing the gift that God has given. Brother Abdul, I just want your general response before we go to break.
And brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is 100% correct. What opens up our people is when they get the knowledge of who they are. See, education is like a, so, you know, in chemistry, you have what is called a catalyst, right?
Come on.
And a catalyst is the thing that causes the chemical reaction, right? So I'll give something that everybody can relate to. We have an experiment that all of us have done, either ourselves or with our children or both, where you get the baking soda, right? You get the dishwashing liquid and you get the vinegar, right? And you make the volcano, right? So now when you make that volcano, you have the baking soda and the dishwashing liquid. And when you mix baking soda and dishwashing liquid, guess what? There's no reaction because the catalyst has not been introduced, right? When you introduce the vinegar, then you get the reaction from the chemicals. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same way with education. True and proper education is the catalyst or the thing that changes the person that is actually educated and then brings out, right, what God has already deposited. See, you know, a lot of us, brother, you know, God is the greatest teacher. And I know as a teacher, as a person who taught for many years, that if you spoon feed the student, you make them dependent. So many of us right now, we going through problems. We just want God to give us the answer. Well, God, you know everything. Just give me the answer.
Right.
Allah, God is never going to just give you the answer because he's the ultimate teacher. And the teacher, if they're any good, they're not going to just spoon feed you the answer and make you dependent. They're going to make you responsible for the answer that you want. You understand what I'm saying? So God is the same way. He gave you, everybody listening to me, no matter how you think about yourself, inside of you right now are gifts and talents that God put within. The only way that those gifts and talents can come out is through proper education and cultivation. And that starts with the knowledge of self.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the building with the Rockwell Radio Show. That's my brother Abdul. This is DJ Rockwell. And when we come back, then we're going to dig into the controversy. We're going to dig into the stuff.
Right. That's right.
We'll be right back, y'all.
What up with it, man? You already know what time it is. It's me, Young Conor Don. I'm up in this thing.
This is Azim Zakir Kareem, the Left Giving MC.
Peace, everyone. This is Brother Anthony K. Muhammad, also known as A-Tone, the hip-hop historian.
Peace, family. What's going on? It's Brother Jabril, Brother Mustafa, Lordship Productions in the building.
I am your sister, Arian Nicole. Peace, peace, peace. It's your sister, Sue Axel. You're watching the Rockwell Radio Show.
You are now tuned in live to the Rockwell Radio Show.
Right now, you're listening to Rockwell Radio Show.
Rockwell Radio. If you ain't listening, man, you wasting time. You on all these other stations, you need to tap in. Rockwell Radio.
You know what it is. Watch him, watch him, watch him.
I'm here with Brother Rockwell, the Rockwell Radio Show.
You ain't in the game, you in the stand. Stop playing, man. Let's go.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
People who know me know that I can sometimes have an ego. I thought I was the best principal in Chicago's history. If you look at my emails, it says most awarded principal, right? It says principal of the #1 neighborhood school. I thought I was the best. And then I met Abdul Muhammad. And it didn't occur to me immediately.
Thank you, Troy. That's good, man.
I'm not playing. Those who know me know it takes a lot to get me to a point where I say I done found someone better than I think I am. And it didn't occur to me immediately, just the more I heard from his story, everywhere he goes, black students' achievement rises.
Wow.
Everywhere he goes, climate and culture gets transformed from fights every day to peace in the halls. Everywhere he goes. And the thing that everywhere he goes, graduation rates go up. And the thing that finally hit me about him is why everywhere he goes you see those things. It dawned upon me that this man loves black children.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for round two. Welcome to the Rockwell Radio Show. Now we're about to jump into it. That was our brother. Man, after watching the footage,
yes, sir,
I fell in love with that brother.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Brother Troy LaRaviere. He serves as the head of the Chicago Principals Association. And he was there introducing you at the July 6th press conference there outside of the Chicago Public School building, if I'm correct. Absolutely. Also present that day at that rally was Attorney Ben Crump. And CNN quoted Ben Crump at that rally, having said this. That's slide number 6, Big Dave. There, 6. Nope, am I wrong? Try the next one, Dave. Oh, go back. We both off today, Dave. Let's get it together now. It happens once. He said these words. If it happens once, it's an incident. It happens twice, it's a coincidence. But when it happens 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, it is a pattern and practice of discrimination against black principals, Attorney Ben Crump said during a news conference on that Thursday. Now, what I want to do is set up the stage, and I'm going to just let you run.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm gonna set the story here. Before any of that occurred, your story began, Brother Abdul, when you were selected by the local school council, or LSC,
right.
to serve as the principal for Lindblom Math and Science Academy, one of the Chicago's top schools.
Yes, sir.
So it seems that that's where the drama began.
Yes,
Take
sir.
it from there.
Right. Yes, sir. So, brother, thank you, my brother. And I want to say this before we get into this part of it. I would like all of your viewers and listeners and watchers to go on the website justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, because we don't want to just give you the information about what's happening. You know, we have to act. We have to do something, right? To try to change what the injustice is. So we want you to go on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. When you go on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, there's a petition that you can sign. We want you to sign the petition. You can also make a donation on a GoFundMe on the justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. And right on that website, you can send an email to Mayor Brandon Johnson, because what's going on with black principals, the black mayor has the power to change it tomorrow. He can make a phone call and make it happen. But he has chosen not to do that at this time. So we have to put more pressure on the mayor. You can click on his name right on the website, and you don't have to think of the email. The email already generates, and you just send that email straight to the mayor's office. So those are the three things we want you to do: sign the petition, make a donation, and then send an email straight to Mayor Brandon Johnson right from the website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. Now, brothers and sisters, I was selected to be the principal. I was elected by the Black LSC, majority Black LSC, at Lindblom High School. Now, Lindblom is a majority Black school, 75% Black. It is located in Inglewood. Inglewood is the neighborhood where Lil Durk and Chief Keef and King Von, all of these young brothers, they're from Inglewood. You hear about O Block is located in Inglewood, right?
Okay.
So now, Inglewood is a Black neighborhood in Chicago. So the Black LSC in the Black school in the Black neighborhood elected me as the principal. There were 11 candidates for the principal position at Lindblom. They selected 2 finalists, myself and another sister who's a friend of mine. On the day of the forum, which is a public meeting where the community and the teachers and everybody asked questions to the candidates, the other candidate dropped out of the process to take another job, and I was the sole candidate. That was June 15th, 2022. When I was elected on June 23rd, 2022 by the LSC, officially given a contract to be the principal at Lindblom. Now, brothers and sisters, because my name is Abdul Muhammad, and for my 25 years in Chicago public schools, I never have and never will hide the fact that I'm a Muslim, that I'm in the Nation of Islam, and that I'm with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I wear my suit and bow tie every day. My name is Abdul Muhammad. So I'm not going anywhere trying to hide and be somebody who I'm not, right?
Right.
And you know, many people will say, well, you know, brother, if you take that attitude, then it's going to be consequences that come with that. And I understand that. And I'm willing, I willingly will pay all those consequences without regret, because I'm never going to hide who I am. So now, when I was elected by the LSC to lead the school, there were people in Chicago public schools. Again, brother, we talked about Black males being in leadership.
Yes, sir.
They want a certain type of Black male to be in leadership in Chicago public schools. And I don't fit that type, because I'm a strong Black man who's uncompromising.
Say it.
So when I was selected to be the principal, you had all of these officials from downtown Chicago in the headquarters, Chicago public schools, that were calling the Black LSC members and trying to convince them to change their decision to select me as the principal of Lindblom. The Black LSC stood strong and said, no, this is our choice. This is who we're going with. So they stood by their decision. And at a certain point, you know, Brother Troy, who you just played, he had to write a letter, because they were trying to stop me from being the principal after I was elected. On July 1st, Brother Troy wrote a letter to everybody in CPS and put them on blast. And in that letter, he said, why are you, in so many words, right, I'm summarizing, why are you trying to stop this man from being the principal of Lindblom?
Right.
It's because he's a Muslim. And if it's because he's a Muslim, then that's religious discrimination. It's because he's a Black man, because Lindblom had never had a Black principal since the school reopened in 2005. So he asked the question in the letter, is it because he's a Black man? And if it's because he's a Black man, then that's racial discrimination. So when Troy wrote that letter on July 1st and put everybody in CPS in the letter and put them on blast, Then they relented and they allowed me to come into the school to be the principal. But that happened on July 5th was my first day at the school, if I remember correctly. No, July 7th, pardon me. July 7th was my first day. So, brother, from the day that I got there, the same people in Chicago public schools worked every day to undermine everything that I tried to do. Because now that the LSC supported me and backed me, right? And Troy wrote a letter on my behalf and put them all on blast. So then they had to let me in. But once I got in, they did everything within their power to try to undermine my leadership while I was at Lindblom. And they worked with, and you can cue the picture right now, my brother. They worked with 7 white teachers. Yeah, there they are. They worked with 7 white teachers in the school. And these 7 white teachers told the Chicago Public Schools Law Department over 83. Now, maybe more than 83. 83 is the last count. They made over 83 false allegations to the Chicago Public Schools Law Department. And brother, when I say false, I'm telling you, I can prove them. Now, you see this man on the screen. His name is Ian Brannigan on the screen.
Okay.
Ian Brannigan told, they were trying to paint the picture that I was irresponsible leader, right? How did I win the Teacher of the Year and get all of these accolades if I was irresponsible, right?
Come on.
Now, Ian Brannigan lied to the CPS Law Department and said on December 22nd, which was the day of a major snowstorm, I came to school late after 8 o'clock. And the teachers and students were scrambling, and I didn't do anything to help organize the school, right? So, brother, now I'm going to ask you, I'm not going to say anything. If somebody came to you and said, look, Muhammad came to school late, how would you fact check that? How would you find out if this person is telling the truth? What would you do, Brother Vaughn, if you wanted to find out?
Call him. I mean, it was a snowstorm. Even if it was true, it was a snowstorm.
It was a snowstorm. But what else could you do if you wanted actual facts?
Ask the people who was there, who saw it.
You could ask the people who were there, or you could just check the time clock, right? We talking about if you're an investigator, right? So this man comes to the law department, who are supposed to be investigators, and says, look, Muhammad came to school late on December 22nd. Man, brother, so the law department, who are also white, right? The lady who's over the law department, her name is Kelly Tarrant. She's a white woman. Using her position to remove black principals from their schools, using her position in the law department. So do you think they fact checked that? Absolutely not. So I fact checked it. I went and looked at what time Mr. Brannigan swiped in, and I looked to see on December 22nd what time I swiped in. I swiped in at 7:46. Mr. Brannigan swiped in at 7:47. But now you see, that's the level. Now, brother, that's just one lie. There's 82 just like that. Can you put the picture back on the screen? This lady at the bottom in the middle, Lauren Levitas, she lied to the law department and said that I purchased a computer and 2 printers. Now I purchased a computer and 2 printers. But the lie was before I purchased supplies for the counseling department. You can take it off. So now, brother, the truth is, I got this. My first day was July 7th. I didn't buy a computer now I'm the principal. I'm the boss, right? I didn't buy a computer for myself until November 9th. Now it was July, September, October. 4 months I'm at the school. I'm the principal. I'm the boss. I have no computer. I have no printer.
How that work? Right.
Because I wanted to make sure all the teachers had everything that they needed before I went and got me something that I needed, right? So not only did I buy supplies for all the teachers, I did it twice. So now, brother, the same records I got, the CPS got them same records. You mean they couldn't fact check that? 83 lies. Now, brother, the difference with me is that everything that I'm telling you, I have receipts for everything that I'm saying. Not, well, I just feel like I came to work on time. No, I got the actual screenshot of when I swiped in, and I have the screenshot of when Mr. Brannigan swiped in. I have the record of when I made the purchase for a computer for myself and a printer. I have the actual record, and I have the records of all the purchases I made for everybody else. So I'm not talking about how I feel or what I think. I have receipts for everything I'm saying. I just want to deal with one more. Can you put the thing back? The lady in the middle, her name is Christina Davis. Now, Christina Davis was not just a teacher, but she was also the athletic director at the school. And as athletic director, she's over all of the sports. So, brother, I found out that the money from the school football games was not being turned in, right? And the way that I found out, a brother who's a friend of mine who I had brought on, he's a retired athletic director. I just want to make sure we're doing everything right. So I brought him on just to make sure everything's in place. The first thing we found out is Christina Davis had 37 coaches that were out of compliance with the state of Illinois, meaning they're coaching students, but they're not even supposed to be on the field because they're out of compliance. Brother Abdul, do you have the email? I have the email where I emailed this incompetent white teacher and told her, look, you got 37 coaches that's out of compliance. You need to get this corrected right away. I got that email. So that's one. Two, the brother says, brother, did you get a financial report from the football game? I looked at him like, financial report, right? I didn't get anything. So the black clerk who was working with these 7 white teachers, I emailed the black clerk. Do I have the email? Absolutely. I emailed the black clerk. I said, where's the financial report?
Receipts.
She never responds to the email. So then I emailed the next day or 2 days later, I emailed the clerk. I mean, the athletic director, the athletic coordinator, and some other people all in the same email. I said, where's the money from the football game? So because I didn't have actual facts, they just came up with a fake report, right? And said here, and then turned some money in, brother. But with the number of people that we had in the stands, it wasn't matching.
They tried.
I didn't have actual facts, so I couldn't argue, but I knew it was something suspicious. Now, I don't know they stealing money. Like at that time, I'm still figuring stuff out because I'm new. So then I say, okay, wait a minute. The homecoming game is the 5th game of the season. It's not the first game, it's the 5th game. So then I said to myself, where's the money from the 4 other games? So I wasn't going to ask them like I did the first time. So I reached out to the stadium director, the Chicago Public School stadium director. His name is Kevin McCrae. Brother, do you have that email? Absolutely. I have receipts for days. They've fallen out of my pockets. I got so many receipts. So now I reach out to the stadium director and he gives me the stadium report that lets me know how many tickets were sold and how much money was collected. So now I got actual facts. So then I called Christina Davis, the white athletic director, and the black clerk. Her name is LaConda McDaniel. I called them both into my office and I asked them a question. I looked them in the eye and I say, where is the money from the previous football games? Brother, they looked me dead in my face and said, there is no money. So then you know what I did. I presented them with actual facts. I pulled out the stadium report, put it straight on the table, gave each one of them a copy, and I asked them again. I said, where is the money from the football games? The black clerk didn't say anything. She didn't say another word that whole meeting because she knew she was busted. The white athletic director says, oh, Mr. Muhammad, that's my money. I said, that's your money? She said, yeah, that's my money because I brought money to make change. So that's my money. I said, Miss Davis, it don't work like that. I said, Miss Davis, if you sold one ticket for $5, you have to turn the $5 into the school. She left the meeting saying that was her money. She emailed me Saturday. That was a Thursday, I believe. She emailed me Saturday morning, and in the email, do you have the email, Brother Abdul? I have the email, right? I got receipts everywhere. In the email, she said, I understand the mistake that I made. I have the money for you on Monday. So now Miss Davis was not the only white teacher that had thousands of dollars of black people's money in their personal bank account.
Incredible.
There were 2 other teachers who we have not named yet. One teacher had over $5,000 of black people's money in her personal bank account. Brother Abdul, do you have the email where the teacher admitted to having over $5,000? I have the email, yes. And there was another teacher who had about $4,000 in his bank account and was spending the money. So, brother, this is the corruption that I walked into, right? I didn't know anything about this. I walked into this when I came to this school.
Wow.
And I'll say this real quick, my brother, just to kind of close this point out. My first day was July 7th, my first day at Lindblom. When I walked in there the first day, there were 13 people working at the school. This is the summer. July is the summer. There's no summer school because the building is under construction. There's 13 people working at the school and there's no students in the building. So my first day, it's a red flag. So I sent an email to the black clerk, LaConda McDaniel, who was working with these white teachers. I sent her an email on my first day at the school asking her, what are these people doing here? What is their responsibility? Because that right there was a red flag. You don't work. They just riding the clock. They're getting paid to do nothing. There's nobody in the building. Not 5 people, not 7 people, 13 people. So now this is the corruption that I was exposed. Now I didn't go there saying I'm gonna expose the corruption. I just went there to do my job. Right. But rather than stand with me in upholding the CPS policies, because Chicago Public Schools didn't want me in the school because I'm a member of the Nation of Islam and I'm a black man, rather than staying with their own policies, they sided with the incompetent white teachers against a principal who was upholding their own policies. That is how corrupt Chicago Public Schools is. That is the length that they will go to remove competent black leadership in front of black children and in front of black families. So this is the fight, brothers and sisters. So if you listening, I know we all got excited when we saw the fight down in Alabama. Everybody was excited. I saw everybody in the nation put a photo website and the Twitter page and all of that. We got excited because black people stood up and fought, which is all right. But that was over a space to park a boat. What we're fighting for is the minds of black children. This fight is a greater fight.
Listen.
Got excited about a brother who got disrespected about a parking space for a boat. If you got excited about that, then this fight is greater than that fight. I need you all to get excited about this. I need you all to visit justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. I need you all to sign a petition, make a donation, and email the mayor. Now, Brother Vaughn, there's so many things that happen. I can't go into everything. There's so much corruption. I'm only giving you all a part of it, but this is not everything that happened. And I was only at the school for 8 months. But I will say this, even though they had 7 white teachers and the black clerk working against me, even though the people downtown Chicago and CPS headquarters was working against me, I was still able to accomplish everything that I wanted to accomplish.
That part.
And they didn't remove me because I did something wrong. So if you go through the report, there's no truth in that report. They removed me based on 100% false claims from these 7 white teachers and this 1 black clerk. So, but this is the length that the enemy will go to remove responsible and competent black leadership from in front of black children.
Ladies and gentlemen, I told you. And as he just pointed out, according to my notes, there's still a ton left to tell. And Brother Abdul, we already have hit our hour, 6 minutes over. Yes, can I retain you just for a few minutes?
Absolutely, brother. I'm yours until we done, brother. Because there's some other things. There's something else I want to bring up. So let's finish with this because there's something else I want to bring up as well.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish your next question. I'll bring it up next.
Okay. And again, I won't keep you long, but some of this stuff the people have to know.
Yes, sir.
I'll go here with that. And just for clarity, so people can understand, and for my understanding, as I was following the story, can you clarify, and maybe it's different in Chicago and Illinois, what is the relationship between the local school council and Chicago public school system, and does one have authority over the other? How does that work?
Yeah, so the local school council, the LSCs were set up by Harold Washington to give community control over the schools when he was mayor. So the local school council, their primary job is to select the principal. That's what they do, right? But CPS wants to, when I say CPS, Chicago Public Schools, in schools like Lindblom, because Lindblom is like one of the top schools in Chicago. It's ranked number 8 in the city, number 22 in the state. And like I said before, CPS leadership likes to pick and choose the people that go into those types of positions, right? Like cronyism, right? So they want to put their hand-picked person in those positions. And y'all have to remember, Lindblom High School, even though it's a black school in a black neighborhood with a black LSC, since the school reopened in 2005, they've never had a black principal. They've only had 1 black principal, well, 2, including myself, in the 100-year history of the school, black male principal, pardon me. So there are issues with this particular school, and the Chicago public school officials always want to put their person, their hand-picked person in. So when I wasn't their hand-picked person, that is why they worked night and day to try to prevent me just from my name being on the list. They were upset. So and they
weren't expecting the Abdul Muhammad.
Brother, I have a story to tell. We can't get into it all tonight, but this is not the first time that officials in Chicago public schools have worked against me because I'm a Muslim. It's not the first time. It's happened many times before, but I always just stayed focused, kept doing my job. I never fought them I never did that. I just moved forward, right? But this particular time, I'm not going to lay down. So I have to fight. And I want everybody that's listening to this to join the fight, right? Because to fight for this is to fight for what's right for our children, to fight for the minds of our children. And we have to expose the corruption in Chicago public schools. We have to fight to be able to educate our own children. And I know some of us will say, well, brother, we have to have independent schools. And that's 100% true. Right. But brothers and sisters, the majority of our children are in the public school systems, and we have to get them where they are. We need everything independent for our people, but we have to go where our people are at the time. So that's what we have to do. So that's what we're doing. And it's not just me, brothers and sisters. I was targeted differently, right? Because I'm Abdul Muhammad. But any black principal, I'm not the only black principal that was removed. And I just want to say this, Brother Vine, if we could put that graphic up. Yeah, that one right there. So this graphic shows the percentages of principals that were removed. So now, when we started this campaign against Chicago public schools for their discrimination against black principals,
yes, sir,
we were making a claim. And the claim that we were making is that Chicago public schools targets black principals. This is the claim that we were making. When the July 6th, when the August 1st article came out in the Chicago Sun-Times with your brother on the cover,
yes, sir,
the writer did the Freedom of Information Act, and this comes from her. So this is not Brother Abdul's information. This is Sarah Karp's information that was in the Chicago Sun-Times. We just made it into a graphic.
Yes,
so
sir.
What Sarah Karp found out from the Freedom of Information Act is that only 8% of the principals in Chicago public schools are black men. 8%. But black men are 70% of the principals who are removed. So what does that tell you? That tells you that Chicago public schools is discriminating and targeting black male principals because they don't want strong black male leadership in front of black children. So
and there it is in black and white.
So this is actual facts, brothers and sisters. This is not my opinion. This is actual facts. Now, there were 10 principals removed this year. 2 of them were white, 8 were black. The 2 white principals actually did something wrong. They actually needed to be removed because they had done something wrong, and CPS came and removed them. But the black principals were targeted by Chicago public schools, targeted for removal. And the question is, why? And you answered that, brother, when you read from the lesson. Is to keep our people ignorant, to keep them
right there. Right there.
To keep them blind to themselves so he can master them. So when you have strong black leadership in black schools, then it frees the minds of black children from the box that white supremacy has put the minds of black children in. So I just wanted to share that. And I wanted to say that I want you all to join the fight at justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. And then the last thing, Brother Vine, because I know this is a hip hop show. And so I wanted to share this. My students know me in my 25 years. They refer to me as the greatest rapper alive, right? Now, I know many of the Muslims, Muslims don't know this side of me unless you've seen me in my element, right? But they refer to me as the greatest rapper alive. And the reason is because for over 20 years, I put on rap battles at every school, right? That I saw the clip. Yeah, so you might have seen the clips in the presentation, right? But I've done that for 20 years at Westinghouse. I did it that's where I started it. And again, brother, it was an idea. Like, I didn't come up with the idea.
What was the response to that?
Students came to me. They were like, Mr. Muhammad, can we, because at that time, battle rapping was big, right? They came to like, Mr. Muhammad, can we do a battle rap, a rap battle? And I was like, that sounds great. So then I just structured the idea that they brought to me, right? Brother. And the brother, if one day I'll share with people the things that I've done to go above and beyond, right? More than just teaching.
It really needs to be documented.
So, and I have videos of all of this, Brother Vaughn. I do have videos. So we're working on getting those videos edited. That's when you saw the nation presentation. We pulled some of that stuff. So now, but for 20 years, I put on rap battles. I always did it in November. Why November? Because if you remember, KRS-One said that November is Hip Hop History Month, right? Correct. Mm-hmm. So I chose November as the month that we would do the rap battle. And I would always do it on the Wednesday right before they got out for Thanksgiving break, right?
Okay.
And it also was a food drive, right? So the students had to bring 2 canned goods in order to get a ticket to the rap battle, right? So now, Brother Vaughn, every school that I've been to, before I did the rap battle, they may get 10, 15 cans when they do the food drive, right? But when I attach the food drive to the rap battle, right, in order to get your ticket, bring 2 canned goods, we would have thousands, listen, thousands of cans that we would donate to the Greater Food Depository of Chicago.
Are y'all listening off of hip hop?
Brother, 1 year, we had so many cans, they brought a truck and the truck wasn't big enough. That's when I was at CBS. Now, but what did this do? So now, not only do the students know me as the greatest rapper alive, right? But again, we're talking about engaging students that don't want to be engaged. The young brothers that want to take a career up in rapping, brother, they not thinking about school, right? But now you can't be in the rap battle with Mr. Muhammad. Like, see, like I'm a very disciplined person. So like you can't be acting the fool in the school, right? And then be in a rap battle. So them two don't not with me at the helm. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want to be in a rap battle, then you have to display a certain type of behavior, because I'm not putting anybody in front of the whole school, and you're not an example of how you should act. And
you acting a fool.
Me. You can get somebody else to do that, but not me, right?
Right.
So I incentivized the rap battle for those that wanted to be in it, right? Which, you know, helped me to build relationships with those young brothers, right? And Brother Vaughn, the rap battle got so big, right, over the years that like when I was at CVS, I had students calling me from other schools wanting to be in a rap battle. Now there's a brother right now who works with what's the brother down in Atlanta? Wildin' Out. What's the brother that has the Wildin' Out
my man. I don't follow that so closely, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So but there's a brother that works on the show. His name is Prince Easy. He's from Chicago. Nick Cannon. Thank you, Nick Cannon. So Nick Cannon, one of his writers is a brother named Prince Easy from Chicago. And Prince Easy, you'll see him on some of the rap battles or whatnot. Prince Easy got his start in the rap battle right here in Chicago.
Come on, man.
Easy went to a school called Carver, which is in Ogdale Gardens. Easy heard about the rap battle and reached out to me one day. He's like, Muhammad, can I be in a rap battle? I was like, look here, man, I can't tell you not to go to school. That's against the law. I can't tell you that. But if you show up, guess what? I'm gonna put you in it. But I have to feel Easy came to the rap battle in his ROTC uniform, because Carver is a military school, so they have to wear the ROTC uniform. Easy comes to the rap battle. He had a haircut like mine. Now he got dreads. He comes to the rap battle in the ROTC uniform and kills the whole rap battle and wins. And of course, you know, I had to go in on the students at CBS. Like, how y'all gonna let somebody come from outside and then take the whole rap battle? CBS, Westinghouse, CBS, Julian. I did the rap battle at Simeon, right? And then when I left Julian, I became the assistant principal at a school called Nancy B. Jefferson, which is located inside the Juvenile Detention Center in Chicago.
It would take us a whole nother show just to discuss what I learned and what I heard you say about Nancy B. Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
How much time I got, Dave? Lord have mercy.
We can come back, my brother. We can come back. But I just, because I know you have a hip hop show, so I just wanted to incorporate this.
Oh, brother.
Because, brother, when I did the rap battle at Nancy B. Jefferson, brother, all they do is sit in their cells and rap all day. So I went to every cell and I'm like, look, I'm putting on this rap battle. And, you know, I do a lot of trash talking, Brother Vaughn. I like, look, y'all don't want no smoke with me. Listen, I'm telling you, you don't want no smoke with me. Day. But what you want to do is you want smoke with one another. And that's why, you know, so I'm doing all this trash talking. So, you know, brother, the rap battle was phenomenal. You know, I talked so much trash. This is a true story. I got the video. I talked so much trash before the rap battle at the Juvenile Detention Center that one of these young brothers said, the whole audience is in there. And he like, man, Muhammad, you was talking all that stuff. I'll battle you right now. So you thought I was going to shrink? No, I didn't shrink. I was like, okay, give him the microphone. Gave that brother the microphone. He did what he did, right? And then they gave me the microphone and I did what he did. And this brother never wanted to battle me again. So, you know.
Greatest rapper alive, y'all.
Yeah, so, but, you know, all in good fun. But now I'm only bringing that up because this is a hip hop show. But what I did was I incorporated hip hop into what we did, right? And this is the last point on that, Brother Vaughn. And this is the thing that I never noticed until it was brought out to me by the attendance coordinator at Chicago Vocational. When I would do the rap battle on the Thanksgiving before the Wednesday before they got out for break, all the students would come to school because they all wanted to be at the rap battle. So now I didn't know I was helping the attendance until one day the attendance coordinator came to me and said, Mr. Muhammad, when you do that rap battle, it boosts our attendance. Because now if you black, the day before break, you're not going to school. You staying home, right? So now listen, brother, we talking about in the hood. I need y'all to understand the places where I taught were the hood. Cooley High,
That's so critical.
And you have all the students coming to school on the day before they get out for break because they want to be a part of the rap battle. And we getting thousands and thousands of cans and feeding people all throughout the city of Chicago. So
let me interject for a minute here.
That I've done.
I need everybody, if you have not done so already, to tag a teacher. Tag it at. We need to get this kind of tips and help that brother's giving y'all right now out to as many people as possible. Lord have mercy. Let me hit the applause button on that one. Brother, I'm sorry, I had to say that real fast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had to say that. This because we need help.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Matter of fact, let me get this question in real fast here. In fact, with this question, dear brother, I want to go back to Brother Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Troy LaRavier's statement to the board. He brilliantly laid out, and we'll come back to the drama real fast.
Yes, sir.
He brilliantly laid out who all the conspiring players were, like you just did. He exposed their lies, like you just did, and he connected the dots, like you just did, like he was an attorney.
Yes,
this
sir.
to the board. Now, he made two very key observations that I would like you to elaborate on as we try to wrap this thing up. He made the observation that 4 of the removed principals were from gentrifying areas of Chicago.
That's right.
And the other point that he made, he equated the targeting of Black principals with the destruction of the Black community. I thought that was profound.
Yes, sir.
So the question I want to ask and you to comment on is, what is the connection, Brother Abdul, between the principles and the success or failure of our community?
Brother, so now that's a great question. You hear all of these people talking about the school to prison pipeline, right? So now, brother, the reality is the school to prison pipeline is real, right? That is a reality. The current Board of Education, who Troy was making these pleas to, when they had their first meeting, they talked about how they wanted to dismantle the school to prison pipeline, but they're co-signing the removal of Black principals who were actually dismantling the school to prison pipeline. So the way that works is it's the same example that I gave with Brother Malcolm. Brother Malcolm got the needle in his brain when the teacher destroyed his confidence in his own ability, right, to be a lawyer. And then what did Malcolm do? He turned to the streets, right? And he ended up where? He ended up in prison. That is how the school to prison pipeline works. Your Black child goes to school with confidence and wants to learn. What happens when they get to high school and now you say, I don't agree with it, but you say, oh, they don't want to learn? It's because somebody has destroyed their belief in themselves. And then where do they turn? Most of them, many of them turn to a life of crime, and that life of crime lands them in prison because when they're in school, they're deprived of what? Opportunities.
Look, bam.
So now what the Black principal does, myself, Dr. Kimberly Gibson, Gerald Morrow, what the Black principal does in that position is we create opportunities for Black children so that the prison is no longer the option. Brother, do you know how many children that we've helped, myself and Brother Gerald Morrow and Dr. Kimberly Gibson and others, to go to a trade? When Brother Gerald Morrow was at Dunbar, he brought in all of these trades into Dunbar. Now listen, the school to prison pipeline is already there. It's already built. It's already established. It's already funneling Black children. I was in the prison with them. It's already funneling Black children into the prisons. That's happening right now as we speak all over the country.
Right.
So now if a principal like Gerald Morrow can come into a school like Dunbar that's funneling all these Black children in the prison, and he can put in a barbering program, and now you have students that want to take that path, right? As opposed to prison. He can put in, which he did. He can put in a cosmetology program. Now you got young ladies that want to take that, right? He can put in a welding program. He put in a pilot's program, right?
Come on.
Put in all of these programs for Black children and put them on pathways to careers as well as college, right? So now what does that do to the prison pipeline? That destroys it. You would think that when a man is doing work like that, that Chicago public schools would take a man like that and put him on their shoulders and put him before the world as an example of strong Black male leadership for Black children. Brother, but the exact opposite happens. When you create pathways, as I was doing, as Brother Gerald was doing, and others, when you create pathways for Black children, that is not prison. Brother, I've been in Chicago public schools for 25 years and have done phenomenal work and have got accolades from everybody except who? Except Chicago public schools.
Except
Chicago
CPS.
public schools has never honored me for the work that I've done in the last 25 years. What does that tell you? Brother, when I was at the jail school, but I cannot tell you all how much the people love me to this day. I just went back there in March of this year. I haven't stopped going because I'm not the principal there. Brother, they love me so much. When I went back in March, the brother that's over the entire facility, Superintendent Dixon, I went back in March. Now, we didn't get there till like 7 o'clock. When I saw him, he said, brother, I stayed here because I love you. This is what the brother told me. So now, brother, everybody in Cook County to this day, I haven't been there in 7 years as the assistant principal. Everybody in Cook County to this day loves Abdul Muhammad. The judges, white or Black. The probation officers, white or Black. The security guards, white or Black. The teachers, all of these people in Cook County. The lawyers, the medical people, because they saw the work that I did with these children at the juvenile detention center, and they saw the work. They didn't care nothing about me being Abdul Muhammad. They saw the work that I was doing. Do you think, now, brother, CPS saw that same work? Do you think that they respected my work and honored my work? Absolutely not. They worked against me when I was at Nancy B. Jefferson with all the good work that I was doing for these Black children that were actually in prison. Now, brother, when I was at Nancy B. Jefferson, we worked with the brothers there, the Cook County side, to put a barbering school inside the juvenile detention center. Man. So they could get their barbering license while they're locked up. What are we talking, brother? They were not graduating before I got there. They didn't care nothing about graduation. We raised the graduation in the jail school. Do you think Chicago public schools said, man, this is the honorable work that you are doing in the most at-risk environment? Absolutely not. They worked against me and they saw the work that I was doing. I've never been honored by Chicago public schools with all the great work that I've done in the last 25 years, but I'm not looking for honor from them. The love and the honor that I get from the students that I serve is enough for me. I'm not looking for any honor from Chicago public schools, but they shouldn't work against the great work that that Allah has blessed me to do. And
they revealed themselves as an enemy. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end. Brother, you have already answered my last question, but I would like to ask you to repeat it for those who may have just joined us. Please tell the people what is the request that you'll have us to do.
So, brothers and sisters, the request, and I know all of your listeners care about our people. You know that I'm in a fight. And if you saw me getting jumped by 7 white people, I hope that you all would jump in.
Right.
I really do hope. Well, that's what's happening. It's not a physical fight, but it is a mental and a spiritual fight. So what I want you all to do is jump in this fight. Go on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. You can sign a petition. You can make a donation. You can email the mayor. You can do all of that right now. Take you 2 minutes, right? You can email the mayor. There's also videos on the Justice for Abdul Muhammad website, and you can share those videos on social media so people can know what's going on, because we're trying to get this story out to as many people as we can. Your brother has been railroaded. I've done 25 years of amazing work with our children. I've worked to transform the lives of Black children everywhere I've gone. And because I've done this work, the people in Chicago public schools who don't care about our children, they worked against me for the last, I'm not going to say 25 years, but definitely for a long time. So this is the fight that I want you all to join, and you can get all of that information on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. And brother, I thank you for having me on your show. I definitely would love to come back and, talk about some of the things that we've done, in educating our children. And I do want to leave you with a quote, if you give me a minute.
Brother, absolutely.
And this quote is from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, if you just give me a second to find it.
Sure.
When I met with him on June 19th regarding this situation. Give me 1 second.
Well, while brother is looking up that, I want to do two birds with one stone. Dave, I want to go ahead and invite everybody who's watching to join us on tomorrow for the 28th anniversary of the Million Man March, the Holy Day of Atonement. That's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Tune in at noi.org, or if you are near a Muhammad Mosque in your city or town, go to that mosque and hear from the National Assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Brother Ishmael Muhammad. Tune in or go. We would love to have you. That's tomorrow, October the 15th. We are recognizing and celebrating the 28th anniversary of the Million Man March. We'd love to see you there. All right.
Real quick, I just want to just share this quote from Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He said, brother, this is when I met with him. He said, brother, every step that you have made in educating the worst people and making them the best, you are proving in your life that the message of Elijah Muhammad is a message of repair. I just wanted to share that quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, brother.
Powerful.
Because everywhere I've gone, by the grace of God, by the grace of Allah, He's blessed me to transform the lives of our children for the better and put them on a path to a true and proper education.
Last word I want to give you before we get out of here is this. Speak to the educators who may be watching. What is if you could pick just one, what is the singular most important factor that a good educator needs to do the work that you've done?
Yeah, the single most important factor that a good educator needs to do the work that I've done is love. Love is the root of everything that I've done. When you love somebody, then see, love causes you to be creative, right? Love is the greatest creative force in the universe. So the creativity that you hear coming out of my mouth to get the students to do this, and this is the root of that is that I love them, right? So when you look at Master Fard Muhammad, right? He is the greatest teacher, right, that we've ever had.
That's right.
But why is he the greatest? It's because of his love for us, right? So people say, well, he didn't even teach Islam. No, he taught Islam. But like any good teacher, right? I'm a teacher, but like any great teacher, you're going to adapt what you're teaching for the students that's in front of you.
Come on.
You understand what I'm saying? So because he loved us, so you have Arabs that come to us and they want to force their culture on us. And then when we don't want to have their culture forced on us, then they want to say we're not Muslims because they don't love us, right? But somebody who loves us is going to develop a methodology, right? This man studied 42 years, right?
Teach.
So he loved us enough to study 42 years to develop a methodology to reach the mind of a Negro, right? So now that is, if you love, that's the root of everything, right? If you have the love for the children that's in front of you, then all the other stuff is going to come. But if you don't have love, then the other stuff don't even mean anything. So that may not be the answer that some of y'all educators were looking for, but that is the correct answer. I'm telling you right now. So the root of everything I've done is because I love my people and I love the children that I serve. And when you love somebody, even though they may get on your nerves, right? But you love them, so you don't lash out at them because you love them, right? So my students, brother, I taught black students, right? When the brother looked at me and told me get the F out of his face, I didn't cuss that brother out. Now my whole collar was hot on fire. I didn't return to him what he gave to me, right? But I didn't run like a coward either. I need y'all to understand that. So the root is love, and when you love, you're long suffering, you're patient, and that gives you the opportunity, gives you the space to be able to give them what they need in order for them to grow to what you want them to be and beyond. So that's what I would say, my brother.
Wow, brother, can I get a commitment for you to come back and keep
brother,
us
absolutely, brother? Absolutely, I'll come back. You know, there's many things that we can talk about. You know, but I definitely will come back and be on the show. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, Abdul Muhammad in the building. This is the Rockwell Radio Show. And again, tomorrow, NOI.org, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the 28th anniversary of the Million Man March. We will see you there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week right here on the Rockwell Radio Show. We are out of here.
Now, if you got past all of that, you might as well keep on rocking with us. So come on, everybody, let's go. Let's go. Radio show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. Rockwell Radio Show. That means you too. Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show. Rockwell Radio Show. Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show. The Rockwell Radio Show. Come on now, y'all. Yeah. It was a dope episode, man. Come on, man. Top tripping.